Oh boy, we're back. Babies and gentle humans, welcome back to Match Week Breakdown, the show where I do everything really cool. I don't know what, I tried to make that like a professional opening and just kind of, I don't really know what I did. That wasn't very professional of me. But we're not professional here. We know this. We're aware. I'm on what episode are we on? 9. Obviously, I released episode on Sunday, I think. Sunday just passes my last episode. I did the match week 5. We were match week 5 last week. Yep. So we're match week 6. Um, I'm doing it where there aren't any matches being played. Obviously, there is Champions League tonight, and there was yesterday. So I hope your team won if they did play in the Champions League yesterday. Um, but this is all about Premier League. This is about match week 6. I'm honestly, I'm getting lost for the season already, and we're 6 game weeks in. I think anyway. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. See for babies and gentle humans. Yes, match week 6, the one that just passed. So we're going to be covering that today. And as we all know, what I do is I go from the first week on Saturday, the first week on Saturday, the first game on Saturday, to the last game on a Sunday. So 12 o'clock Saturday to. Oh, wait, no! Ladies and gentlemen, there was a game on Monday. I always forget about that Monday game. It's not a very eventful one, and this one wasn't either, to be fair. Um, is there a match week on. Okay, there's a lot of match weeks on, like. There's not many on Mondays, recently, anyway. So match week 7, there isn't one. Match week 8, there is one, though. So, starting off, we have Brentford versus Man United. It was 3-1 to Brentford. Um, and Man United have the same issue as they've always had, which is they can't convert their chances. They had 14 shots in this game. 6 of them were on target, which you could make an argument for. Well, even though if we didn't score opportunities, not many of them were on target anyway. Okay, well, that literally doesn't help your point at all if you can't even score, but then you can't hit your shots on target anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's not a very helpful thing to have in the middle of the season. Whilst Brentford could convert their chances, actually, I think they had 11 shots in total. I don't have all my stats up yet, so let me just like give me a minute. So 10 of their shots, well, they had 10 shots. I don't know what I'm saying. Just give me a minute, all right? It's the first time I've spoken out loud all day. It mostly is when I film my podcast. To be fair, I don't really speak out loud much, unless I'm on call with someone or I'm speaking to myself. But I mainly do that in my head. Anyway, um, so Brentford had 10 shots. 8 of them were on target, and they scored 3. That's really not a good look for Man United. And obviously they got a win last week against Chelsea, who had their goalkeeper sent off for 5 minutes. So that's also not a great look, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like Man United are in the mud, and I think Amarim will be gone by Christmas. If he keeps up, he'll be gone by Christmas. I think he has to go by Christmas if he keeps up this form, because it's just like you hear Roy Keane saying, "You play for Man United, you know, you got to pretty much wear like your heart in your sleeve, play for the badge." And none of these players seem like they want to do it. Their captain isn't even really a captain. Like Bruno Fernandes is just a big crybaby who's their best player, so he got the armband. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like who else do you give it to though? You don't give it to Luke Shaw. You don't give it to Harry Maguire or De Ligt. Ugarte doesn't have it because he doesn't have the experience in a Man United shirt. Dorgu's too young. Dalot is just shit at football. Sorry for the language. Cunha's too new, and Buemo's too new, and Sesko's young and he's also new. So Bruno is probably one of their most experienced players and their best player, which is very bad if you're saying Bruno Fernandes is your best player. I would get it if he was playing for like Real Madrid, and people going, Bruno's our best player, and I'll be like, all right, that's some serious stuff that they're saying. Like Bruno's your best player, and he's playing for Man United. That's not a great look, is it? In this Man United team, if it was back in the day, if we're talking like that 99 treble winning United team, and you're going, yeah, this person's our best player. That's like a big statement. That's also a big honouring. Is that the correct word for that? It's a big honour? Yeah, I suppose so. It's a big honour to be called the best player in possibly one of the best teams that football has seen in the past 25 years. Even though 99 wasn't 25 years ago. 27 years we'll go. Yeah. We might as well just go 30. 30 years then. Yeah. In the last 30 years, I think that 99 winning, like treble winning United team that was the naughty team. But if we're going off this United, being called their best player, you would hope you fucking are if you're their captain, even though he did get a yellow. Um, but like, if it's not Bruno, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna be an advocate for Bruno. If it's not Bruno, then who else do you give it to? Because he's not exactly a leader, is he? You wouldn't say Bruno Fernandes is a leader. Like what if he does what he does on the pitch, which is he cries and he might get an assist and maybe a goal. Like last season when he scored, what was it, 3 free kicks in a row? I was just like, this guy is double decent. Like he's all right scoring 3 free kicks in a row. But then he doesn't really do anything else in a game, does he? Like when he scored those 3 free kicks, he was in pretty decent form. I had him in my FPL team and everything, but he just wasn't. He isn't up for being a captain, which is bad. And if they do sack Amorim, there's a few candidates who I can think of, and one that instantly comes to mind is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who obviously got sacked from Besiktas. How many weeks ago was that? 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. It was around the same time that Mourinho got sacked from Fenerbahce. Yes, it was around that time. Um, but if Ollie comes back, that'll be decent for the club. I think Xavi could be a good one, maybe, with what he did with that Barca team. But then obviously, I think he got sacked. Did he get the sack? I think Xavi got the sack. Um, but I want to speak about a man, 2 men. Well, that sounds a bit odd if you take that out of context. But I want to talk about Keith Andrews and Igor Thiago. Yeah. First yawn of the episode. Maybe I should do a yawn counter. Do you reckon that's a good idea to put a yawn counter in for the video? That'd be good. I think it would be good anyway. Um, yeah, Keith Andrews, new manager in the Prem, set piece coach before. Which, if you don't know what a set piece coach is, that's basically the people that work on like all the corner free kick tactics, stuff like that. So dead ball coaches, realistically. Um, he's a new Premier League manager. He's getting into it, and he's not doing too bad. Brentford are currently in the league, are placed 13th, which for a new manager isn't bad. And obviously, he worked under Thomas Frank for a fairly long time, so maybe he took some of Frank's like tactics or work. Yeah, hair in my mouth. I really don't like that. Ew, there was hair in my mouth. That's bad. Um, Sorry, literally none of this is getting cut. By the way, I don't really cut down my videos because everything that happens is just part of it. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine a lot of other podcasts get cut down either. Because everything that happens it's kind of part of it. So anyway, I don't know why there was a pause there. That was quite weird. That was a weird pause. But anyway, yes. Um, New manager, 13th in the league in the Prem, probably uses some of Frank's tactics, but that's fine because he's not a manager. And I can imagine he's got some of his own tactics going on. Um, like having Kevin Sade and Dango Otara, who did score in his debut and then did literally nothing else for his whole time at Brentford. He's a good player. Like Dango Otara is a good player, but he's not like he scored in his debut and then hasn't done anything really. But Igor Thiago has been scoring like a madman lately, like crazy. He scored a double in this game. I haven't seen any of the goals in this game week, so please do excuse me if I don't talk about like good goals or stuff like that. And then yeah, Igor Thiago I think has been a revelation for Brentford because he's been so good ever since he's joined the club. Um, and I can't even remember who their striker was. Brentford's. Who was their striker last season? Wissa. Yeah, it was Wissa and Embuemo, and now they've got Utara, Damsgaard, and Sade, and then Igor Thiago up front. That's a pretty like decent front four, you would say. Your striker, then you got the one sat behind, and then you got two wingers. That's the front four pretty much. Um, but yeah, that's a pretty good that's a good front line to be going with. Sade is so quick. Damsgaard is so technical. Utara is just a good player all rounder. And Thiago will score you goals. That's a good front four to have. And then you got Nathan Collins at the back, who is about 4'11". Nah, Nathan Collins. I don't know how tall Nathan Collins is. About 6'2", 6'3", I would say. And then Vandenberg, who aren't massively old. I think Collins is 23, and Vandenberg is 25, 26. He must be. And then Hickey and then Kayode, who aren't massively old either. I don't know the age exactly, but they can't be massively old. And then Hendo, or Henderson, as everyone else knows him, is their most experienced player. I don't think. I mean, you can get. I think he should have the armband. Um, but I'm not the manager. Keith Andrews is. And then I'm gonna botch this name, so just tell me if I'm wrong. Yarmaliak. Yarmaliak. I had trouble saying the words. What word was I trying to say yesterday that I kept messing up? I can't say English properly. Like, not the word English, but I can't speak English properly. It's really weird at the minute. Um, specifically, specifically. No, I don't know. Anyway, that's not football related. That was just me trying to figure out what word I was saying yesterday that I just couldn't say correctly. Anyway, Kelleher has been a good signing. I think he saved a Bruno penalty in this game as well, which makes sense because Bruno's. I'm not gonna say the S word. Bruno is bad. There you go. Bruno's a bad player. So yeah, Kelleher actually got me points in FPL this week. That's genuinely. I put him in over Dean Henderson. Because Dean Henderson played Liverpool, so I was just like, they're either gonna lose or concede, and we all know how that one went. Um, but yeah, Kelleher got me 8 points, I believe, which I'm very happy about on my FPL team. Other than that, I got about 21 more across the whole team, which I don't want to talk about. Also, Benjamin Sesko scored. It wasn't the most delightful looking goal, but he scored, so he's off the mark for Man United now. I don't think he scored in any of his games so far since he obviously got signed. So there we go. He's off the mark for Man United. Um, but they did lose, which isn't great. And also, Altai India starting goal is just shit. Like he's such a bad goalkeeper. I remember watching him last season, and he was actually alright because he had someone to go past in the season. He had Andre Onana to try and get past, um, who is now at Trabzonspor, and I believe he's doing fairly well there. To be fair, he left, got man of the match in his first game, made 9 saves, and then I think the game after he got an assist and man of the match again. So that seems to have gone really well for United, and they haven't used their new bloke Lamans. That just sounds weird to say. That's got really shit, huh? How else do you say that name? Lamans. It is genuinely Lamans, isn't it? I'm not being stupid. I'm just gonna have a drink quickly. Just if you were wondering. You know what I mean? Mouth's getting a bit dry, so we got to have a liquid on board all the time. Um, but yeah. So Brentford won. No, Man United won. Brentford 3. But Brentford did technically won. They got a win. You see what I did there? One with the number one, word one. Yeah. Nice, thanks, guys. You can stop applauding, but it's all right. Um, Igor Thiago with a double, 8 minutes, and then 20 minutes. Benjamin Sesko scored 6 minutes after, and then Matthias Jensen, just to kind of settle the nerves of that game, scored in the 95th minute. And by the way, I did see this goal. It's a banger. It's an absolute banger. I think Matthias Jensen's going to be a very good player, even though he is a very good player, and he is getting on a bit. How old? Someone let me know how old Matthias Jensen is, because he's got to be like 28. He's been around for a while now, but just no one's really heard of him until about 2 years ago, which is also quite sad when you think of it. Anyway, Brighton 3, Chelsea 1, which you could say the other way, considering that Enzo Fernandez or Chelsea. I've just given you one of the scorers. Um, because Chelsea were playing at home, so you could say Chelsea won, Brighton 3, but I always got taught that the bigger number comes first, because then it's easier. Like, if you say this team lost 1-3, but if you say this team lost 3-1, sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? I got taught that it was a rule at one point. I said that someone said the rule is you always say the biggest number, and I went okay, and then I've just carried that with me through my life. I don't think it's a rule. You can say it whatever way you want. No one really cares. But yeah. Anyway, um, so Enzo Fernandez scored, as I said in the introduction to this game. Enzo Fernandez scored in 24 minutes, and then Brighton decided to score 3 goals from the 77th minute to the 100th actually. 90 plus 10. Now you tell me how that's possible to get that much added time. And I'll give you some thinking time. I won't, I'm joking. I won't give you any thinking time actually. But that is mental to get 10 plus minutes of added time. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you get that much. And Danny Welbeck scored a double, which by the way, I do still rate Danny Welbeck fairly highly. Like he is still a good footballer. And he is 34, I believe. Well, I read somewhere that he was 34 the other day. Um, so to be performing at that level at 34 years old, that's good, man. That's very good. Um, but yeah, what? Ow! I don't know what just happened to me. Um, yeah, it's to be performing at that level where oh my god, I can't. I literally cannot speak today. What is going on? I can't speak at all recently. To be performing at that level, at that age, and still scoring a decent amount of goals. How many did he score last season? 10? I think he got double digits last season. And yes, they were all in like that, the first 19 games, which is half the season, by the way. Because half of 38 is actually 19. And yes, I did fail maths twice, but that doesn't mean I don't know what half of 38 is. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying to you? That was really weird. I'm sorry for being that close to the mic. Do you reckon I should start one of the episodes by doing this voice? You know the voice where all the trailers like start from? Or should I do it in like an anime voice? I should start my episodes like this. Oh my god. That was so weird. What am I doing with my life? I'm doing an anime voice and the trailer guy voice. That was so weird. Um, But should we start one of the episodes by doing one of those two voices? I can't do like accents. I can't do an accent, but I can do like a what's it? What is it? An accent is like Irish accent. So that's like a language or like a voice from another another nation, another country, I think. I think that's what an accent is. And then an impression. There you go. I can't do it of certain people. Like I can't do certain people's impressions, but I can do it of like a genre. Is that the correct? Or like if you give me a theme, I could be able to probably make a voice or like do an impression of that. But it's yeah. Anyway, that this is not about football. This is just me like spreading ideas. Um, but yeah. So Enzo Fernandez scored. Danny Welbeck scored in the 77th minute. I'm gonna fuck this name up. Sorry for the French. Sorry to the French. I don't like the French actually. I don't know if anyone else does. But anyway, Maxim de Cooper, de Coupia. Is that how you say that name? I don't really know. Um, but he scored in the 92nd minute, and then Travis Chalobah scored in the 50. Not he didn't score at all. Actually, he got a red card. That's even worse. Travis Chalobah got sent off in the 53rd minute. I didn't see what for. So should I watch the highlights? No, I'm not gonna do that on my channel. Will it say what he got sent off of? Um, maybe it will. Hold on a second, lads. Let me have a look, because it could say Footmob. I get all my stuff from Footmob and the Premier League app. Just if you were wondering what I actually get my stuff from, that's where I get my info. My info. Um, Monday, no. Sunday, no. Actually, it was on Saturday. Saturday, yes, I'm doing this all live. Like this, genuinely, I'm not going to cut any of this out. Because I feel like it just makes the episode more authentic, if you see what I mean. Like if I script all of it and go, so this happened and this happened, then it won't really be as authentic. But if I do it just like straight off the top, then yeah. Um, a professional foul. So Chalobah is dismissed for a professional foul, denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. There we go. So first, I think it was a yellow. Um, and then yeah, so he's kind of had to make that challenge. Um, yeah. So there we go. Travicello got sent off for denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. I can't remember what that's called in like a shortened version. Um, good denial of goal scoring opportunity. Dog, dog, dog. Is it dog? Doggo, dog, doggo. That yes, that's what I'm going to call it on this channel. Denial of goal scoring opportunity. Doggo. There we go. That might actually be what it's called, to be fair. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Brighton look. Chelsea are not doing great, are they? They won last night in Champions League, obviously. But in terms of like their all-round play, they lost last week to Manchester United, and one of their players got sent off. They had their goalkeeper sent off, so he's off for the next 2 games because that's how long a straight red lasts. And then Trevor Chalobah's just been sent off here, which means he's out for the next 3 games. In I think you can have a League Cup game. I don't think you can be sent off for Champions League or FA Cup games if you get off in the Premier League. I don't think that's how it works. Um, but yeah, the next 3 Premier League games and a League Cup game. I don't know if they have any before they're in their next 3. But yeah, he's off for the next 3 Premier League games at least. Um, and they're gonna have to deal with George Jensen and goal. Um, yeah. Or did Sanchez come back? Is it a 1 game ban that they get? Because Sanchez got sent off against United, didn't he? He did. So why has he been sent off for 1 game? Maybe it is just 1 game then. Am I going mental? Because I swear that some people get sent off for 3 games. But Sanchez was involved in this one. I don't bloody know anymore. Genuinely. I always thought it was 3. I always thought if you get a straight red, you get sent off for 3 games in a row. Maybe I'm being a twat. I don't think I am though. Let me know if it is because I swear to God it's 3 games for a straight red, but Robert Sanchez comes straight back. Or is it different for goalkeepers? Because if it is, then it shouldn't be. Because why would you have it different for goalkeepers, but the same for everyone else? But yeah, clearly I'm wrong, so don't listen to me. Right. Anyway, moving on from that mind-boggling news that I just had. Crystal Palace remain unbeaten. Liverpool do not remain unbeaten because Liverpool got beat by Crystal Palace in a bloody lovely game. Now, my main talking point is about the Hale End boy himself, Eddie Nketiah, giving Liverpool a taste of their own medicine to know how it feels to get defeated in the final minute of a game. It's Myler Starr, who, by the way, loves scoring against Liverpool. I think I saw a stat after he scored in the Community Shield that he scored like 6 in 8 games, even for Watford. Like he still scored goals against Liverpool in when he was playing for Watford. And he scored another goal here. If you hear someone coming downstairs, that is my dog. But I don't know if she's going to come downstairs. Oh, no. She's still there. Oh. No, anyway. Moving on to football more. Is Myler Sarr scored in 9 minutes, which would have broken the Liverpool fans' hearts because they're going, "Oh no, we're getting defeated," and then they're probably like, "Oh wait, no, but it's not the 85th minute or plus yet, is it? So we'll be all right." And then it reached the 87th minute, and then Federico Chiesa thought he saved everyone, and then 10 minutes later, Mr. Haaland himself, Eddie Nketiah, scores, and it was a decent finish. To be fair to him, he did take it on the volley, and he did score, and it did look beautiful. So thank you, Eddie, very much for scoring that. But Arne Slot's team looks out of ideas, don't they? I said this in the last episode. I think I was talking about this. If I haven't, then I'm going to talk about it now. And even if I did talk about it, I'm going to talk about it now still. They look very flat going forward. They have amazing players, don't get me wrong, and their depth of players is also pretty bloody good. But they just look very out of it. Like they don't really know what to fully do with themselves. I'm going to tell you the starting lineup and tell you genuinely, tell me how many of these players you would put into. Whose starting 11 should we put them into? Into Barcelona or PSG. So take PSG starting 11 and then see if you put these Liverpool players I'm about to name, see if you put them into PSG starting 11, as PSG are the best team in the world. Allison, and I'm going to do it as well. So I'm going to do this with you. Actually, just to make it better, should we get PSG's team up? I want that over there just so I don't actually lose anything. PSG starting 11. Just so we're all aware that I am actually doing this properly. Why are you not in English? Let me see. We're not going to put any music over this. I'm just going to try and figure out why my computer just isn't saying any of this in English. Just bear with for a second. Oh, here we go. There we go. My computer was doing it in Dutch. I don't remember changing any of this to Dutch, but it was doing it in Dutch. Here we go. English version. Right. Lovely. Can it be English? No, it clearly bloody can't. Right. English. English. You know what I'm saying? So fuck Jesus Christ. Rightio then. We'll do foot mob. I'm trying to search up. This is crazy. I'm doing a. Oh Jesus! Not literally, because he's not real. Sorry for any other questions. No, I do actually know a question that listens, so I'm very sorry. I didn't mean it. His name. I'm not going to say his name. Actually, we're not going to out anyone on this show. We are going to do PSG, not the women's team, the men's team. Squad. Can I have their starting 11, please? What are you lot doing? I want that should we do the team who won the Champions League? Should we do that team? Squad. Nope, fixtures. That's the one I want. Right, so let's go to when they won the Champions League. How long ago was that now? 2 months ago? 2 months ago? Must have been. Who did they beat in the final? It wasn't us. Here we go. PSG versus Inter Milan. Lineup. Alright, so this is the team that beat Inter Milan 5-0 in the final. Apart from, I'm going to take one exception. We're not going to include Donnarumma as he has just moved to Man City. So there we go. But everyone else has stayed there. So, I'm going to do this along with you lot. So, imagine Chevalier, I think that's how you say his name, the new PSG goalkeeper, is in goal for this game. So, Chevalier or Alisson, I would pick Alisson. Hakimi or Connor Bradley, I'm picking Hakimi. every day of the week, and I don't think it's close, if I'm completely honest with you. And you got Kanate or Marquinhos, which is a difficult one, but I'm gonna go with Marquinhos. I think he's been better as an all-round presence than what Kanate has for the last season or two. So as a player, I'm gonna go for Marquinhos. Van Dijk or Pacho isn't close. I think, in my opinion, it's Van Dijk. I'm not gonna go Pacho. In the next few years, once Pacho picks up and once Van Dijk falls off, then yeah, it'll probably be closer. Um, well, I don't know how much time Van Dijk has left. Hopefully a few more years because he is a very good defender just to watch. And if you're an up and coming football player and you want to play in defence, that's the man you want to be looking at because he is very good at what he does. Right, next is Nuno Mendes versus Kirkez, and it's Nuno Mendes, and it's not close. I don't think that anyone can make a genuine attempt to give Kirkez an opportunity to play in this team. If you do, then you can tell me, but no one does. Um, João Neves versus Gravenberch will go. Now these are two. It's a difficult one because they're two different players. I would personally go for Gravenberch because I think. Oh, it's a difficult one though, isn't it? It's a very difficult one because they are two different players, like completely different players. Um, I'm gonna go with Gravenberch 'cause I think he's more of an all-round presence than what João Neves is, and João Neves is still young, and so is Gravenberch. So they're two very young players, but I think Gravenberch edges it for me. Um, Pause. Don't take it out of context. Vitinha or Szoboszlai, Vitinha, and again, I think it's closer than like say Nuno Mendes and Kirkez, but I don't think it's very close. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's very close at all. McAllister, Fabian Ruiz, I would go with right now. I would go Fabian Ruiz. If it was like last season, I would have gone McAllister and it wouldn't have been close. So the front three is Doué or Salah, which is closer than people think. Not really, I'm joking, it's Salah. Like, it is. And Doué, don't get me wrong, he is one of the best wingers in the world, but Salah is better. Like, I think Salah is better than Doué. And you can kill me on the internet if you want, but I don't care. Salah's better than Doué. And then it's Fabian Wirtz or forgive me, Lord, for saying this name, Kvaratskhelia. Um, what is my dog looking at? Hold on. Hello? No one there. Bloody old dog. Wah! Right, we're back. My dog was looking at something, and apparently dogs can see like ghosts and stuff, which is weird. Hello. Do you want to say hello to the people? No? Okay. Thanks. I don't want to be licked whilst doing my podcast, thank you. Um, sit there. Sit. Thank you. You can't see any of this, but just imagine a black Labrador sitting next to a coffee table with a man talking about football with his phone right next to him. That's all you have to envisage. Yeah, Fabian Ruiz over McAllister. Salah's better than Doué. Kvaratskhelia. I think I actually said that first time. Oh my word. Kvaratskhelia against Vert. It's Kvaratskhelia. And I've said this since episode like 3. I've said that Fabian Vert is going to be a flop because he's not going to be able to handle the intensity of the Premier League, and he hasn't. He hasn't. He's done literally nothing since he's got there. I think he got an assist in like the Community Shield, but no one cares about the Community Shield. And yes, people say, "Oh well, Arsenal fans always count it as a big trophy." No, it's not. I used to think it was, but it's not anymore. I remember when we beat Man City in like 2021 for it, and I was just like, "We're so back," but we're really not back at all. And then Isak versus Dembele. Dembele, best player in the world without a shadow of a doubt. But um, back into the Premier League. Goodbye, starting 11 of PSG. Um, yeah, I think in terms of a better football team, better knitted football team, it's Crystal Palace. Because Liverpool still don't seem like they've got their shit together as a team fully yet. And they still look it's weird because they still look like they're all gelling, but like how many of these players were playing together last season? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So 8 of the 11 were still playing together last season. It's only their left back, their left winger, and their striker. Um, but they still don't look like they've gelled, which is a really weird thing to say after they've won the league last season. Um, but if they can't find it soon, if they can't find what they're looking for, which is a real outlet to goal, apart from Ekatike, then they're not going to win the league. And you can take the piss if you want. I don't think they're going to win the league if they can't find anything. And before the season, I said that Arsenal would win the league. Um, but it's a weird one because you have to kind of assume that everything's going to go correct for every team. And if people said Liverpool, they're like, I don't think they're going to be correct because nothing's gone. Nothing. If you're speaking genuinely, nothing has gone correct for Liverpool this season, and the only thing that's been on their side has been time. Like they've just added, like refs have added minutes that didn't need to be added for Liverpool's game, just so they can score. And I'm being genuinely deadly. Like I'm being deadly serious when I say that. They've added minutes that didn't need to be added, just so Liverpool could win. I genuinely believe that, and I think Crystal Palace are a better team than Liverpool are. Am I saying that they're going to win the league? No. Am I saying that Liverpool are going to win the league? I don't think they are. So I think that Crystal Palace are a better team than Liverpool. But in terms of individual performances, having a better team doesn't mean that there are better individual players in that team. Liverpool have a team of world class players, but if they can't gel, then they're not going to be a good team. Crystal Palace could be individually the worst players ever, but if they have a good team, they are a better knitted team than what Liverpool are, and they'll just put in good performances because they're ready to play for each other. There you go. And we are only on the third game, and we are 40 minutes in, because we've been rambling a little bit, but that's fine. You sometimes just need to ramble about stuff. Anyway, Leeds held Bournemouth to a draw. Eli Junior Krupi did save them in the 93rd minute though. There's been a lot of late goals. I've realised that just now. I'm going to talk about a game later which has a late goal in it. And I think there's another one here somewhere. I think anyway. But Joe, actually, no. We're not going correctly in order of the goals. Antoine Semenyo scored, which is a shock because he never scores in games ever, does he? Like ever. And then Joe Rodon scored. Sean Longstaff scored 9 minutes after resuming play, and then Eli Junior Krupi scored in the 93rd minute to save Bournemouth from getting. He got him at least 1 point, which is a good thing. I think Leeds. I said this last week. I said this literally on Sunday. I said this 3 days ago. I think that Leeds are going to stay up, and I think home games are going to massively help them with staying up. Same with Sunderland and same with Burnley. I think their home performances are going to be so crucial to them staying up. Um, and this is just like another one of the Leeds performances. They're at home. It seems like they dominated for a lot of that game. Um, yeah, it's going to be crucial, and I think they're going to stay up because of it. I think Sunderland, like home and away, they're doing really well this season. I'm actually dreading them playing someone like Arsenal, um, at the Emirates. And what's their stadium called? What's the Sunderland stadium called? I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think Leeds are genuinely going to have a really good season under Daniel Farker, even though he was very close to relegation. So I was thinking maybe he's going to get relegated. Or not relegated. He was very close to getting sacked. That's what I meant. He was very close to getting sacked last season. I think end of last season he was close. So I was thinking, well, maybe depending on how he starts, which I didn't think they were going to start incredibly well. I think their recruitment has been really good, but maybe it is that whole gelling situation that I wasn't too sure on. Um, but he's got them to work all really well together. He's got them to work together, play for each other, just be that team that everyone wants them to be. Uh, but yeah, I think it's been really good. Like Leeds have been really, really good. Sunderland have been good, and Burnley have been good, but they just need that bit of like cutting edge, like strikers. Do you know what I mean? They need those players who will carry them, and Jaden Anthony right now is doing that. He did score in the next game that I'm going to talk about, but yeah, I just think that Burnley need a stone cold killer in front of goal that will get them over the line. But they're doing well, don't get me wrong. So, and then Bournemouth are gonna probably finish mid-table again. I can't see anything more than that. It was gonna be more than that last season, and then they stumbled at the final hurdles, which is a horrible thing to do, but it's true in it. They crumbled at the last possible hurdles. Anyway, next game is Man City versus Burnley, where they absolutely thumped Burnley 5-1, and Esteve scored 2 own goals. And I do feel really sorry for him. He has been one of their better players this season. As a defender, he has been one of their better players. But to score 2 own goals, that's going to get some, like, I would have cried if I went back into the changing room. Um, and I've just scored 2 own goals in one game and helped my team lose 5-1. Like it's a horrible feeling, but I can imagine everyone's going, bro, it's fine. It's one game. Everyone has games like it. Um, but like he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. It is a stinker, like an absolute Esteve stinker. Like I think I left the room because of how stinky it was as a performance. Um, but one thing I am happy with about Burnley is that they scored first in this game. They scored 7 minutes before half time. Um, in not including extra time, obviously. Um, but yeah, um I think Burnley's defensive performances in this season have been very good. They've been very stubborn in defence, which is what you need out of a defence. Especially if you're newly promoted, then you need to have a little bit like you need to make sure your defence is on top all the time. And I think coming up from the championship where there's no VAR can be a bit of a shock because obviously you're not used to like putting in a hard challenge and the ref is going to go look at a monitor to see if it's a penalty or not. Do you know what I mean? If it's a penalty, they'll give it. If it's not, then they aren't going to get swayed by some bloke sitting in a room looking at a screen telling you. Do you know what I mean? Um, now, I think VAR as a whole, I'm going to go on a bit of a VAR rant. I think VAR as a whole is a great system for choosing the right stuff. Don't get me wrong, I think it's great. And I was wrong about Jaden Anthony scoring first, by the way. It was Esteve or Esteve. I think that's how you say his name, Esteve. I think. He scored an own goal in 12 minutes, and then Jaden Anthony equalised. But that's not the point. I'm going on a VAR rant, not a. But I did get it wrong, so I'd just like to say that because I looked at my phone and it said 1-1 half time. I was just like, okay. Um, but I think VAR is a great system to for what it is meant to be used for, which is actually seeing if the ref was correct or if they were wrong, then telling them what their perspective of it is. But they've got absolute melons using it. Like no one who's looking at that screen is genuinely telling the truth. They're looking at it from one angle and maybe another one and going, "Yeah, actually, I think it might be this." And we don't know what they're saying to each other. The audio never gets released. We just hear the like what they've come to as a team, and it's like, yeah, it like okay. I'm gonna genuinely use a prime example. A prime example of a VAR bad misusage on Sunday. I'm gonna use the Arsenal game. Arsenal versus, and someone tell me if there is genuinely a better like a worse VAR decision. I know there was a lot of them last season, and probably the season before there were a few stinkers, but this is the most recent one I can think of. This from this weekend. So Gyökeres gets played through, and Nick Pope's coming off the line to try and collect the ball because that's what you do as a goalkeeper and make himself look big. And Gyökeres has kicked the ball onto Nick Pope's toe, and I don't know if it was going out if Gyökeres. I don't think it would have. Personally, it was fairly close. I think from what I saw. Um, but Gyökeres actually kicked it onto Nick Pope's foot, so he's got the ball first. I would just like to say, and Nick Pope has got his like big toe to it. The tip of his big toe has clipped the ball, and he's taking Gyökeres out completely. Like he's put his knee out, everything. He's taking Gyökeres out, and he's taken a fucking 32, a 1 out of 32% of the ball, right? He has got nothing on that ball. He has got it the slightest of touches, which did convert it a little bit, and it did change its direction. But that's not enough to say that he didn't take Gyökeres out and that it's not a penalty. That is one of the worst decisions I've seen VAR make, and it seems like they're just upping it every single time for terrible decisions. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many bad decisions, and they just get worse week after week after week. And if you just scrap it completely, then that's not going to help because then it turns into the championship, which isn't a bad thing because the championship is the rest decision is like the rest decision. Do you know what I mean? Um, but then people will complain that Gabriel's handball is a handball, but Nick Pope's penalty isn't a penalty. And I'm like, okay, so Nick Pope's wasn't a penalty. If Nick Pope's was a penalty, then Gabriel's is. And I'm not even joking. As an Arsenal fan, I genuinely believe that. If Nick Pope's was given as a penalty, then I think they would give that as a penalty, because it was pretty much the same exact thing, just with a handball in it. So Gabriel slid in, and it touched a bit of his shin, which means if it touched his hand, it's not a penalty, because the same thing happened with Nick Pope when it touched a little bit of his toe, and he took Gyökeres out, which was a penalty. Do you see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. Like, the rules are the rules, but they've never played them in their life before this season. I have never seen that rule in my life. The goalkeeper gets a 16th of the ball, yet he got the ball, but he's taken the player out, but because his little toe touched the ball, it's not a foul. It's stupid. And it genuinely, it does make me really angry sometimes that VAR is a thing. If they like don't think the right decision is scrapping it, I genuinely think it's just automated, whether and then it just says in there a yes or no, and this is the reason. But they don't do that. They wank each other off in the room, and then they go, "Oh, actually, we probably do need to look at that." So we're just gonna say it's not, even though I haven't looked at it in depth. Sorry, children, if you are listening as well. I hope there's no children listening. Um, but it like it's stupid. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, we're. I hope UEFA or the FA are just going to come to it and just go, yeah, we need to make this better. We're going to get absolute melons to stop using it, and we're going to make it completely automated so it's easier for the ref. There you go. But other goal scorers in this Burnley Man City game, we did go on a rant, but that's fine. Mateus Nunes scored once, and then Haaland scored two in the 90th minute and the 93rd minute, which is crazy from Erling Haaland, who just can't stop scoring at the minute. I think he's got about 7, 8 goals to his name so far in not in all comps, but just in the Prem. So yes, 5-1 Man City Burnley. Esteve with an absolute stinker. Um, in Sunderland versus Nottingham Forest, Alderete? Is that how you say his name? Omar Alderete. Um, he scored to make it only 1-0. Again, I think Sunderland are honestly dark horses this season. and they are called the Black Cats, which means that they're the dark cats of this season. Get it? Get it? Do you understand what? Yeah, dark cats, dark horses. Dark horses means like dark horses means that they're underdogs. But if they're dark cats, because they're called the Black Cats. Yeah, I think that was a good one. But if you don't think it, then you're wrong. Um, but sorry, I just need to message quickly. Because people don't actually know that I'm filming. I'm filming downstairs, and my parents are loud when they come into the house. So just um, yeah, it's not the best. Uh, I'm filming, so be quiet when you're back, please. No, I'm filming. Um, just so you know. Um, yes. Anyway, after that message, I don't want to be rude. I just want to. I didn't want to be like I'm filming, so literally shut up when I'm back. When you're back. So I just went. I'm just filming, just so everyone's aware. Um, because we're gonna hit the hour mark. This is gonna be the first episode that's hit the hour mark. Because we're 50 minutes in, and I've done what 4 games, 5 games. I think I'm on my 5th game. Um, but yeah, Alderete, which I think is how you score the name. He scored the only goal. There isn't really much to report on other than Ange hasn't won a game as Nottingham Forest manager yet, which I find funny, and I think he will get sacked. I'm not joking. But I think Sunderland's away form and their home form has been really good, and I am very happy because I think Sunderland are going to stay up, and I genuinely think they beat Newcastle this season, which is a derby I'm very happy to come back to because I think it's one of the best derbies in football. Sunderland and Newcastle is a great derby to watch because like they're just ruthless to each other all the time. Um, and someone at the football club I go to quite a bit, Fakenham Football Club, for no one's aware. I do go there sometimes, every now and then. Um, but yeah, she's someone there is a Sunderland fan, um, and she makes the most scrumptious pasta of all time. Um, so yeah, I want them to stay up also for her sanity if I go back. Which I think she'll be happy with their lineup. Not with their lineup, but how they're performing. I think she'll be happy. They're sat in 5th, which is lovely to see a newly promoted side in general be that high up on the table. We're 6 games in, which isn't the worst. Being 5th after 6 games isn't bad. That's all I've got to say on that game. Nottingham Forest are bad now, anyway. Like it seems like Nuno didn't get along with the owner, so we went, all right, we're gonna get a worse manager, and it's not easy to like downgrading from Nuno is not a difficult job because Nuno was very good. So downgrading is easy, if you see what I mean. Um, Spurs saved himself against Wolves. It was 0-0 at half time, and Santiago Bueno, um, just like the Kinder Chocolate, it's exactly how you spell it and exactly how you say it as well. Um, Scored in 54 minutes, put the Wolves ahead. Like, I'm guessing their nickname's the Wolves. I don't know why it wouldn't be. They are literally called Wolves. Or if you want to say Wolverhampton Wanderers, then that's fine, but like, just call them the Wolves. And then Spurs, which are called the fucking. What are the Spurs? What are they called? The Cockerels. Yeah, Spurs are called the Cockerels. To be fair, the Arsenal fans are called the Gooners, which isn't any better. Um, but they saved himself in the 94th minute thanks to João Paulinho, who has been a very good signing. I spoke about this last time. I think João Paulinho is literally exactly what Spurs needed, and it's just that little bit of fight in midfield, that little bit of bite that they didn't have last season. With no more Basuma, because obviously he is um gone. Well, he's not gone, but like um he's not what's the word? What am I trying to say? He's not what they needed. There you go. Yeah, he's not what they needed. So yeah, I think Paulinho is exactly what they need. Just a little bit of bite, and if he gets sent off, then that's his fault. Um, but yeah, he's a good player. I like João Paulinho. I can't lie. And I think yeah, what Spurs needed was a bit of João Paulinho. Right now, Villa actually scored goals in this game. Raul Jimenez did score against them in 3 minutes, but Ollie Watkins then scored. John McGinn. John? Why did I say it like that? John McGinn scored. John McGinn. And then Emiliano. That was a terrible Scottish accent as well. And then Emiliano Buendia scored it in the 51st minute, literally 2 minutes after John scored. Um, Go on, Johnny. That's my son. It's Johnny. Um, Sorry. I've got a lot of energy today, and I've only yawned once as well. I've just realised that. Um, but yeah, Villa scored more than one goal, which I think is a headline in itself, if I'm completely honest. They have been getting to their scoring ways a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like every now and then in all comps, just as a whole, they've been scoring a little bit. Um, but yeah, scoring more than one is definitely like well done, lads. Um, Nick Voltemade, that's the man of not my dreams. That's the man of my nightmares right now. Newcastle Arsenal. Nick Voltemade scored after Arsenal were on top for literally the entire game, and then Mikel Merino and Gabriel Magalhaes scored in the 84th and the 96th minute, which I think the roof of my house came off a little bit because we were just jumping around the living room screaming when Gabriel scored. But I think what made it better is St James's Park has been hell for us in recent seasons. Like genuine, like we can't get a result there ever because of how loud the Newcastle fans are. Um, but Declan Rice in this game was just everywhere. Like his passes into the final third, his distance covered, his passes to cut the lines. Like it's so crazy how good that man was. And Odegaard came on and changed the game as well. Two headers, both from set pieces, but I don't care if we score a goal and we score them late. That's cool. And obviously facing Olympiacos, I think we'll be going into our future games with a lot of confidence, knowing that we actually beat Newcastle at St James's Park. Even though it is a weakened Newcastle side, that doesn't matter. Um, so yes, I don't really have a lot to say on these last two games, other than I'm very happy. And also, I would just like to say, Jared Gillett, I don't like you because everything didn't seem to go in our way, did it? I don't care what anyone says; it just didn't seem to go well. Um, but anyway, the last game, and I don't have a lot to say on this one either, is Michael Keane. No, that's not the game, but like Nuno obviously got sacked, um, and Graham Potter got sacked. Sorry, yeah, that one's never happened before. That was a sneeze, bloody hell. But Nuno got sacked, and then Graham Potter got sacked. So Nuno signed where Graham Potter was, um, in West Ham Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Don't laugh at the word dick. I know where your mind is. Um, But yeah, Michael Keane scored in 18 minutes, which, like, how long has Michael Keane been around? Because he's been around for years, and he's like 32 or something, which is crazy to me. And then Jared Bowen scored in the 65th minute to give Nuno a draw at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, which I read um, after that game that Jared Bowen is the first player to score at the Hill Dickinson Stadium this season. So well done, sir. Well done to you, Jared. Um, I have a lot of respect for that West Ham side, and I think if they do go down, they won't want to. And I think if they do go down, then a lot of their big players will leave. Like Jared Bowen isn't going to want to play the in the Championship, is he? Um, I have maybe changed my mind about if they will go down. Considering that they have just got Nuno in, and I think he will change the philosophy of that club big time. Big time, I think he will. Um, which is good because they needed it, and Graham Potter just wasn't going to cut it there, was he? Um, so we're back up, we're back going. Um, Game week 6 has been finished. I think we're all happy. I think we're all happy with that. Um, there was a lot of late goals, a lot of late drama, just a lot of stuff that went down in that game week, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said at the start, if your team was playing last night, then I hope you got the result that you wanted. And if your team is playing tonight, then I hope you get the result that you want, because I hope that my team gets the result that they want. I do try to be unbiased when I film these episodes. Like, genuinely, I do try to be a neutral when I film these episodes, but sometimes I can't, like, genuinely. And then there is football tomorrow. There is Europa League and Europa Conference League. I didn't know that. But yeah, Europa League and Europa Conference League tomorrow. And then on Friday, we go back. Friday, we go back to football. We are an hour in. Let's give a round of applause for the first round of applause. Damn, round of applause for the first hour episode of Match Week Breakdown. Everyone, join in. Thank you. Don't watch that with your eyes closed because that is weird. But yeah, thank you all for the support recently. It has been decent. I'm just trying to get this whole thing up and running. If you do want me to change anything, then please do let me know. Because yeah, I would like tips, not tips on how to like play. That sounds weird out of context. I just want ways that I could improve the watching experience for you lot. So, yeah. So if you do have anything that you want me to change, then put it in the comments. But the views are going up. We're going up on a Tuesday. Well, technically on a Wednesday. But you get what I mean. So, for now it's goodbye. Next Tuesday or Wednesday, like always, episode. Probably a Tuesday. Depending on what's happening. But if it's not Tuesday, then it will be definitely be Wednesday. I appreciate that this is a bit of a later episode. Like last Sunday was a very late episode. That came out at what, quarter past 10, something like that. But anyway, thank you all for listening. I appreciate it, like always. So I will see you in the next game week. Thank you very much. Goodbye.